I'm really excited about the idea of using kind of leveraging gender diversity to bring in innovation into business practices and strategies. Oftentimes, and Lale was providing really great examples where gender is kind of everywhere within business. I mean, it's somewhat hidden, but generally it's kind of used in all varieties of different ways in our practices, in our spaces, in our policies. It shows up so many different places. And in each of those places, there are kind of baked in notions of what should and should not happen around gender. And this, of course, impacts trans folks, but it also impacts people of other genders as well. And so, as an example of something that we helped an organization change is the kind of a concept that often gets baked into gender is safety. Those are kind of inextricably linked in people's minds. And what often happens, especially within, say, washrooms or dorms or programs, is that there's this notion if we have all of one gender together, then things will be safe or maybe safer, right? But what we're finding is that's kind of unpacking that is one, that the data doesn't support that in general. And also it's a distraction from the real issues of safety that are actually going on. And so we're often helping organizations who want to innovate is to understand if there's other ways that you can measure safety that don't involve gender. And as soon as you take gender out of the equation, that's when trans people are freed up. That's when other people of other genders are freed up as well. And so that's a really exciting prospect of helping organizations remap away from gender. Now, of course, in some instances, it makes sense to use gender, but I would say that we're probably overutilizing gender in organizations. And so there's real value in taking a second look, maybe even a third look, to see what ways we can reorient that type of use of gender. And so within spaces, for example, in particular dorms, we were able to help an organization shift from gender to, as a concept of safety, to behavior. And as soon as you get to behavior, that's when it's so much clearer that no matter somebody's gender, if they're acting in these ways, then there's these types of actions that need to be taken. And those can be carefully mapped. And of course, we will also want to be very intersectional, given some of the issues that are going in the US in terms of security. So not just exclusively looking at trans issues, but mapping on especially anti-Black racism into that. But certainly those are really, really important. And what you end up doing is you have better experiences for trans folks and less work for staff. So there's actually a time saving benefit to organizations when we kind of loosen our grip on gender practices within organizations.